Welcome back, my name is Sam. Today we are going to talk about Max Verstappen and his future at Red Bull. There have been some interesting reports coming out of the paddock this week, and I want to walk you through what is actually going on, what Verstappen has said, and what the realistic options are if things do not improve. So let's get into it. According to Jackie Martens from De Limburger and Eric van Haren from De Telegraaf, two of the most reliable sources when it comes to the Verstappen camp, Red Bull recently sat down with Max and asked him to publicly commit his future to the team. They wanted him to say on the record that he is staying beyond 2026. Verstappen refused to give them that commitment. Now, why does Red Bull need that? The team is currently trying to hire engineers and technical staff from other teams to help solve their performance issues. The RB22 has been one of the most disappointing cars of the new regulation era, and Red Bull knows they need fresh ideas and new people to fix it. But when they approach those people, the first thing they ask is whether Max is staying. It is a completely logical question. Nobody wants to leave a competitive team to join a project that might lose its star driver in 6 months. Red Bull wants to use his name as a recruitment tool. Without that commitment from Verstappen, it becomes a lot harder to convince top talent to make the move. Helmut Marko has even admitted that without Verstappen, Red Bull would be losing around 18 seconds per race. That is a remarkable thing to say publicly. It tells you everything about where the car currently is. The driver is carrying the team. And when the driver is doing that much of the work, he has every right to ask questions about whether the team is doing enough to hold up their end of the deal. And Verstappen knows that. He has been very open about his frustration this season. After Barcelona, where he finished 4th, he said the following: "Today we just didn't have the pace to keep up with the cars ahead. We were just too slow compared to the cars ahead on each compound." He also made clear that it was obvious Red Bull is now behind Ferrari, Mercedes and McLaren. That is a pretty bleak assessment from a 4-time world champion, and it is not the first time he has said something like this in 2026. He has been consistent all season about the fact that the car is simply not where it needs to be. In Monaco, he said the team needed to find more performance. In Canada, he said the same thing. And now in Barcelona, after finishing 4th, he is saying it again. At some point, the pattern becomes the story. Now, Verstappen has a performance clause in his contract. His deal runs until the end of 2028. But if he is not sitting first or second in the Drivers' Championship by the summer break, he can activate that clause and leave the team early. This is not a new rumour. This clause has been reported on by multiple credible Dutch journalists, and it is widely accepted in the paddock as real. Right now, Verstappen is 7th in the standings with 55 points. The championship leader, Kimi Antonelli, has 156 points. The summer break comes after the Hungarian Grand Prix, which means he has Austria, Silverstone and Hungary to close that gap. Based on the current pace of the car, getting into the top 2 before Hungary looks impossible. So the question becomes, if the clause becomes active, what does he actually do with it? Before we get into the destinations, it is worth understanding what Verstappen has said publicly about his own future. He has not been dramatic about it, but he has been honest. He has said on multiple occasions that he wants to race in Formula 1 as long as he is competitive and as long as he enjoys it. He has also been clear that winning is the only thing that matters to him. He is not interested in being part of a project that might be competitive in 2 or 3 years. He wants to be competitive now. He also mentioned after Barcelona that he is still planning to race in Formula 1 next year, but notably, he did not say it would be at Red Bull. That small detail did not go unnoticed in the paddock. Eric van Haren from De Telegraaf specifically pointed that out, saying Verstappen was very careful to only confirm he would be in Formula 1, not that he would be at Red Bull. That is a meaningful distinction. The team that has been linked to him the most is Mercedes. Toto Wolff has spoken about his interest in Verstappen before, and Mercedes is currently the team to beat in 2026. But according to former Formula 1 driver Ralf Schumacher, Mercedes has already made Verstappen an offer behind the scenes, and Verstappen turned it down because the financial terms were not good enough. Schumacher believes this was deliberate from Wolff. His reasoning is that Mercedes has Kimi Antonelli, who is performing extremely well in his 2nd season, and George Russell on a long-term contract. By making an offer that Verstappen would not accept, Wolff can say he tried, without actually disrupting what is currently a very well-functioning team. Whether that is the right call is a separate debate, but from a team management perspective, it is a logical one. Ferrari is not an option. They have Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, and after Hamilton's win in Barcelona, that partnership looks like it could be together for several more years. Neither of those seats is opening up anytime soon. That brings us to McLaren, which is the more interesting conversation. Oscar Piastri is managed by Mark Webber, who has a long history with Red Bull. There are reports suggesting that if Verstappen were to leave, Red Bull might try to bring Piastri in as a replacement, using Webber as the connection. If Piastri moves to Red Bull, that opens a seat at McLaren, which is currently one of the most competitive cars on the grid. Whether Verstappen would want to go to McLaren and race alongside Lando Norris is a different question entirely. It would be a very competitive internal environment. Norris is one of the fastest drivers on the grid right now, and he would not simply move aside for Verstappen. It would be a genuine fight between two drivers who both believe they can win. Verstappen has generally preferred to be in a team where the structure is clearly built around him, which is exactly what he has had at Red Bull for the last decade. McLaren would be a very different dynamic. For now, all of this depends on what happens in Austria. Red Bull is bringing a significant upgrade to the Red Bull ring, focused mainly on reducing the weight of the car. The RB22 started the season 12 kilograms over the FIA minimum weight limit. They brought that down to 6 kilograms over with the Miami upgrade. The Austria package is supposed to eliminate the remaining 6 kilograms entirely. Getting a car down to the minimum weight is a big deal in Formula One because it means you can redistribute ballast to the optimal position on the car, which improves balance, handling, and tyre management. Red Bull's engineers estimate that should be worth around 0.2 of a second per lap. But Verstappen himself has already said the upgrades will not be enough to close the gap to the front. He said, and I quote, "We already know that they will not be enough to fill the gap to the best. We will have to do something else." That is not the statement of a driver who is feeling confident about the direction of the team. There is also a broader point worth making here. Red Bull is not just at risk of losing Verstappen. If he goes, the entire commercial structure of the team changes. Their sponsorship deals, their media value, their ability to attract future drivers, all of it is built around having the best driver in the world in their car. Losing Verstappen would be a setback that goes well beyond just the results on a Sunday afternoon. Red Bull management understands this, which is why they called the meeting in the first place. They are not panicking yet, but they are paying very close attention. Red Bull asked Verstappen for a commitment. He did not give them one. The Austria upgrade is essentially their last real chance to show him something before the summer break. If it does not deliver, the conversation around his future is going to get a lot louder very quickly. What do you think happens next? Does Verstappen stay at Red Bull and trust the process, or does he look for a way out? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I am Sam, and I will see you in the next one.